you are a liability to yourself and that brokerage.
No doubt.
Like when you are new, it is non-negotiable that you have a human that you can sit with and write your first purchase agreement.
While I want to help all agents, it's not okay to learn on the job at the expense of your buyers and sellers.
Correct.
You really have to take this seriously.
You can't want to sell the house more than they do.
No.
If they are not helping you and you're overpriced, it goes back to that episode we just did about you're actually hurting your reputation one client at a time by saying yes to people who aren't serious sellers.
Yep.
I can't count the number of people that didn't use me my first 5 years that I have done so much business with the last 10 years.
Right. Hi, y'all. Welcome to Hustle Humbly.
We're Alissa and Katy, two active realtors in the Baton Rouge market. We work for two different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths.
Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katy.
No, welcome to episode 356, New Agent Mistakes. I'm not sure you are bringing the right energy to this.
Why?
Because you're like...
Should I share my personal story? Because
it
has nothing to do with real estate.
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake. I am Alissa, and I made a mistake.
It's okay. We all make mistakes.
Alissa doesn't make mistakes.
Well, tell them what happened.
So today, as of the day of this recording, is the Tuesday after Mother's Day.
True story.
Last week on Tuesday, I ordered from a very nice, expensive bakery my mother-in-law's favorite German chocolate cake and my mother's favorite strawberry cake, only made by this bakery.
It was very thoughtful of you.
And then they were like, oh, and we have a special on fruit trays if you want a large fruit tray. I'm like, that'd be awesome. Throw it in. So I'm just going to drop $150 here, okay? And then they're like, don't forget to pick it up Saturday because we're closed on Sunday. I'm like, okay, no problem at all. I put it on my calendar.
You're like, bye.
Bye. Guess who never went and picked it up on Saturday?
Yeah.
Me. I didn't go pick it up.
But you remembered you didn't pick it up.
I remembered Saturday night at 10 p.m. when I laid my head on my pillow.
That's the worst feeling.
I was like, I'm not going to be able to sleep all night because I'm so angry
at
that
yourself.
I forgot.
I know,
but I forgot.
You have to give yourself grace. It's Maycember.
I know. And then I woke up at 8 a.m. Well, I woke up at 6 a.m. when Tate comes in, but then I got up at 8 and I woke up the second my eyes opened. I was upset. I was mad. And I just went to Whole Foods and I bought cake because I was hosting Mother's Day, spent another $100 on freaking cake.
Wow.
For Mother's Day. And then the bakery was also closed on Monday. So I couldn't go get it Monday either. Now I don't want it. So anyway.
The cakes that say Happy
Mother's Day is what these cakes say.
I can tell you, people listening right now relate to this. They're like, yep, been there. I forgot.
I was going to go pick it up when the kids went to jujitsu. And then I started cleaning the house. And then we had a baby shower to go to. And then I was like, oh, I have to get ready. And then I told Katy, I said I know I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to our listeners.
Yes.
I went to this baby shower where there was cakes and fruit trays.
Nothing triggered you.
Nothing triggered me until that night. It's probably for the best. It would have ruined, because by the time I was at the shower, they had just closed. So it would have ruined
it's best you didn't remember.
It's for the best. And now one day I will laugh about it. And I'm hoping my friend who because the bakery just called right before we started airing, which is why I'm so fired up about it.
Yeah, I'm worried about the new agents who are listening.
I'm going to tone it down.
Okay.
But they just called to be like, sorry, you forgot your cakes. One of them might not be good anymore, but it should be fine. They were
asking if you're coming to get it.
Are you coming today? If you don't come by the end of the day today, we're just throwing away your whole order. I'm like, listen here, people. So I sent my friend messages, and she's going to pick them up and bless her office.
I think that's great.
Things.
It's going to work out super. Somebody's day, maybe multiple people's, just got made over your mistake.
You know, everything happens for a reason.
But do you know whose day is not going to be made if you make a mistake?
My client.
Yeah, your buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if every other realtor on Instagram is talking about how AI is changing their business and you're over here like, cool. No idea what any of you are doing.
Hand fully raised. No shame.
Same. Here's the thing. AI is not going anywhere. The agents who figure this out now are the ones who are going to have hours back in their week, while the rest of us are still copying, pasting listing descriptions like it's 2019.
Which is exactly why Katy is hosting a brand new monthly Claude class inside of our Hustle Humbly community.
We're starting at the very beginning, like how to even navigate the thing, and working all the way up to skills, projects, and co-work. And I'm building done-for-you skills you can drop right into your business and use that day.
So whether you're Claude curious or ready to become Claude confident, this is your spot.
It's already included in your community membership. No upsell, no extra fee, just show up.
If you're not in community yet, you can head to hustlehumblypodcast.com and come hang out with us. We'd love to have you.
Don't get left behind on this one, friends. So we're going to talk about new agent mistakes. And if you listened to last week's episode, that was all about treating your business like a business. We're not reiterating that. There are two types of mistakes, I feel like. New agents have business mistakes, ways that they're setting up their business wrong, things they're not doing they should be doing, all related to business. And then there are mistakes with the actual work they're doing with their clients. That's what we're covering today. Based on a message we received. And, we do always like to give permission and give grace and, let people know that, things happen. However, we really do need to think through our transactions and how we represent our buyers and sellers, because making a mistake there is possibly losing them thousands of dollars.
A whole house.
Or their home, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's go through some mistakes.
Okay.
Are you ready for number one?
Yeah.
Not understanding the terms of the pre-approval, or a general overall fear of talking about money. So let's talk about the money mistakes.
If you are not comfortable talking about money, you are not ready to have a client.
Fair.
You have to get to a point where you are asking the right questions. You know what to ask. Like, you have to be comfortable talking about this. How you get paid.
Yeah.
What their closing costs are.
Do they have money?
Do they have money? Do you know their whole situation?
What kind of loan? How, you can't even fill out the blanks of the purchase agreement in our state if you don't know what type of loan it is, how much percentage they're putting down, if they need closing costs, what their interest rate is, how long is the loan term.
I know you know, but I can't believe how many purchase agreements I get on my listings where the financing part is just sort of, it's blank.
Blank.
They left those blanks
Fully blank.
And I'm like, I don't even know what you're, they're still running through some options. I'm like,
give me an option.
Yeah.
Which one do they think it's going to be?
Yes.
How do I even respond to this?
Well, in our office, if say I just accepted it, our office would kick it back and be like, this is an incomplete purchase agreement.
Fix it.
It's not complete. It must be fixed.
I mean, honestly, I think as a new agent, part of the most overwhelming part is the mortgage piece, right?
Yes.
It's a lot of terms, a lot of industry specific terms, a lot of math, obviously. I believe I took a class at the board.
So many classes.
It was like a intro to mortgages. Y'all, there really are only a handful of mortgages that you're going to see over and over again.
Yeah.
Your conventional and your FHA and your RD and your VA, and then cash buyers,
basics.
and that's kind of your vibes, right? If you don't know what each of those things are and what the terms of each of them are, you need to learn. Because also your buyers are looking to you for advice.
Right.
So if your buyer shows up with a pre-approval for a high interest rate conventional loan, and you know that they would be better qualified or maybe possible to have an RD loan and get 100% and has a lower interest rate right now.
Or if you know your buyer is going FHA, but you didn't know that FHA requires a house to be in a certain condition, and you're showing them homes that can't qualify for
Yeah.
FHA.
You're going to waste a lot of their time and the money they spend on their inspection.
Yes.
When they discover, or even their appraisal if they get that far.
So that's usually when it falls through, because I had a new agent. I was not in this transaction. I just heard this story, but they did not realize that FHA had requirements for the condition of the home.
Mm-hmm.
Their client had a very low budget.
Okay.
They were looking at pretty distressed properties that were at least as livable as they could be, but certainly did not meet FHA standards.
Uh-huh.
They made it through a home inspection. That buyer who has no money scrounged up $500 for a home inspection. Then they made it past that.
Yeah, they were like, we'll do it. We're fine. We'll fix this ourselves.
Yeah. I think they got some closing costs from the seller, so that way they could put more cash to the house.
All right.
The house that they never were able to purchase because the appraiser came back and said, no, FHA would require this to be fixed, this to be fixed, this to be fixed. And the seller's like, I'm not renovating this house. You saw what it is.
That's why it's the price that it is.
And I think both agents made huge mistakes here.
Yeah.
Listing agent should have never accepted an FHA offer.
Yeah, because she knew the condition.
She knew.
Mm-hmm.
She should have known.
Right.
New agent cost that buyer over $1,000.
When they don't have money.
When they don't have money. Because they didn't realize that it couldn't go FHA.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just things that I also think there's, the lenders, obviously you want to make sure they're with a good lender that is explaining things to them.
Right.
But sometimes your buyers come to you already pre-approved with someone.
Yeah.
And they say, oh yeah, I'm pre-approved up to, 300. And you're like, and my first question when I'm not involved in the pre-approval process is always, awesome. How did you feel about that monthly note?
And they're like, what do you mean?
Yes. And they're like, I don't know what that monthly note is. I'm like,
you're going to need to know.
I said, do you mind if I just introduce myself to your lender, copy you on the email? Sure. And y'all, I feel like this goes so well.
Oh, good.
The lenders like it.
Okay.
I email the lender. I copy the buyers. Hi, so-and-so. We have a mutual client. They're copied on this email.
Yep.
I'm so excited for us to all be a team and work together to get to the closing table. Would you mind sharing with me how much is their closing costs and prepaids estimated to be? And what is the monthly note at $300? And then I get my answers. Oh, thank you so much for the introduction. Here's the information you need. And sometimes my buyers go, oh, wait, we have to bring that closing cost?
They didn't have a clue.
Yeah. Sometimes they don't know. And I'm like, yeah, we can ask the seller to pay, but how much of it? Do you have savings?
Do you have any?
If the seller will only pay $5,000, do you have the difference?
Right.
And your down payment?
Yeah.
Things like this that we are the ones writing the purchase agreement.
You have to know.
If you put $10,000 in closing cost and the closing costs are only $8,000, you and the seller agrees.
Yeah.
That $2,000 is just forfeited.
Back to the seller.
Back to the seller.
Your buyer then has lost $2,000.
Right.
Because you could have taken it off the price.
Yes.
You didn't do that.
Right.
Same as if you just put in the blanks, oh, well, I think they're going to do an FHA loan, but you didn't actually ask or you don't even know. And then the listing agent shows the seller, they get maybe even another offer and they're like, oh, well, we don't want to take an FHA offer. Yeah. And you're the whole time, your buyer wasn't even FHA, they were conventional.
Right.
Mistake.
And they lost the house because you weren't sure and you were too nervous to ask.
Yes, and here's the problem. A lot of mistakes, new agents, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Know.
Well, we've talked about, and how could you? But you have to make your best effort to learn what everything you possibly can. That's why we're telling you what you need to maybe think about. If you make mistakes that you don't even realize how they've affected your buyer, how would that agent know? Oh, they took another offer. There were multiple offers. Well, what if you found out that they took another offer because you put the wrong loan type in there?
I know.
Yikes.
I think that's why I love the Monday morning meeting.
Yeah.
Is that is like our smaller group meeting where everybody is sharing situations.
Right.
And to this day, I'm listening like, I haven't encountered that
Yeah,
one.
tell me what
I wouldn't know
happened.
what to do in that. Like, I've never been through that. And then I get to hear what you're supposed to do or how to handle it or options. And y'all, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
For you.
Right.
That's why this podcast exists.
Well, that leads us right into our next mistake. Not asking for help and just winging it. Just winging it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have a restaurant around the corner from here called Just Winging It.
Just winging it.
But the truth is, you can't just wing it. You need to ask for help. So as a new agent, one of your biggest mistakes is, do you have a line of people you can go to for questions?
And I mean this with 100% confidence. If you don't, you are in the wrong brokerage.
Yeah, you have to have a broker or a mentor or a team leader or someone who not only is assigned to you, but actually answers your questions.
Correct.
That you feel comfortable calling.
So Connie's biggest pet peeve is the local realtor Facebook groups.
Oh, because they go in there and start asking questions.
And Connie's like,
these are all for their broker.
Yes. And Connie says, she's like, I know I can't mandate things. I do not want to see any of y'all chatting in this group.
Yeah.
She's like, you have a question? You come to me.
Right.
For a few reasons. And she hasn't said this, but I think she would. One, if you ask a dumb question, I want to be the only one that hears it.
Right.
You represent all of us.
And ultimately, she's liable.
Yes. And number two, I am in charge of your insurance, making sure your compliance.
If Alissa Jenkins fills out her contract incorrectly,
Yeah.
and you get sued, it's on the broker.
Yeah. So I just think it's so funny because Connie's always like, you do not ask questions there. You come to me.
Yeah.
But it's awesome because like, I get agents come ask me stuff when I'm there. That's fine if I can quickly help you.
Yeah.
But like, if your broker is not available, you are a liability to yourself and that brokerage.
No doubt.
Like when you are new, it is non-negotiable that you have a human that you can sit with and write your first purchase agreement.
Yeah.
My first purchase agreement that I wrote it to Tim D'Angelo in my office, who was one of my biggest mentors ever. He led the Monday meeting sometimes when I was new. And I had the buyer and I sent him an offer. And in the offer, I made two mistakes.
Okay.
Number one, my first offer ever. I wrote, seller to pay all closing costs and prepaids. He's like, and then I have my buyer's initial and sign in all the seller blanks.
Well, I mean, it's just poor
just
usage.
Technicality.
But right. Okay.
Yeah. But he emailed me back and said, hey, before I submit this, I need a number and your people signed in the wrong spot. And I went, oh, that makes sense that you would need he's like, Alissa, every lender has different closing costs.
And what, seller's going to sign a blank check?
I just thought closing costs were closing costs. Like,
great, let's pay them.
Yeah. And so I quickly went to the lender, found the number I needed.
Yeah.
Correctly wrote the purchase agreement, had them sign in the correct spot, sent him a fresh new offer. But I'm like, dang, I can't believe. What if it hadn't been Tim? What would they have said? I guess they just would have countered with a number.
They would have maybe laughed at you.
Yeah.
Or been like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oops. It's a good thing he was friendly.
Very friendly.
For you. Yeah. I mean, someone should be there to answer your questions, but also you should be holding yourself accountable to asking the questions.
Oh, yeah.
We get sometimes we get a sweet friend in our group asking a question that we'll do our best, or someone will just say, hey, this is actually something you have to ask your broker.
Yes.
It's rare.
Every market is different. Every office is different. The way you do things is different. So there are broker questions and then there's just general advice questions.
Right. It's more like, hey, I have this situation. What would you do?
Yeah.
It's not, there are some questions that must be taken to your broker.
100%.
That should really be your first line of defense.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up on the new agent mistake. Letting the buyer run the show during due diligence and not giving them guidance and really setting expectations in general. Letting the buyer just run all over you.
Run all over. This is tricky because I think it's a skill that has to be learned.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know if it's just because like I'm the oldest child that I learned this skill very quickly. Like
Yeah.
how to, like my personality was
Right.
just sort of made for this.
Yeah.
But I do think the more you discuss these situations and the dialogue, the easier and smoother it becomes.
Right.
So you practice telling your buyer, like, hey, the point of this home inspection is not to make an old house new construction.
Right.
We're here to check for safety items and important items that could change your mind about buying the house.
Yeah.
You know, and then again, you can do the best job ever and you're still at the mercy of your buyers.
For sure.
But at the end of the day, how did they even go into it? Did they
What were they expecting?
Yes. Do they think we just fix everything?
Did you set their expectations?
Do they understand that because if your buyer is asking you, what if it fails inspection? Then they clearly don't understand what they're doing. And you haven't done, it goes back to what we say all the time. When an agent feels frustrated by something, instead of being frustrated at the client, they need to go, I guess I didn't explain that.
Why don't you understand this?
Why don't you understand this?
Yeah.
Because I must not have been clear enough or done my job. I haven't done my job well if you're struggling to understand what this is. So making sure that you are setting expectations up front about what this is for. Making sure you're at the home inspection to answer their questions.
Right. I do really like, and it's a free, so if you want this, you can get it as a new agent. The Make Sure You're Sure template.
Yes.
So it's the email we send pre-inspection that just kind of reminds your buyer all the things that they should be thinking about, looking into, and checking before their inspection period ends.
Yeah.
I think you just go hustlehumblypodcast.com/make sure.
Yes.
Okay.
That's our freebie
But
for this one.
You should be telling them, like when the buyer looks to you and they're like, hey, well, I had the inspection now, just send it in and ask for repairs. You'd be like, no. We don't ask for everything on the inspection. That's not what's customary. We have to make choices. What's the most important? We need to look at, like you said, the safety, the structure, the systems. Like I love having the 3 S's in my mind. If they start asking me questions before we leave the inspection about, okay, well, I guess we'll just have to get the seller to fix everything. I'm like, we are going to focus on safety and structure and systems. We're not going to nitpick every little thing. Oh, the blinds don't open? Oh, well.
Welcome to home ownership.
Right. I mean, like we can't ask for everything. But again, that's you steering that ship. Okay. And so I think also we're talking about like sometimes the mistakes are like, you don't know, again, what you don't know. The HOA. When it comes to like, is it in an HOA? What are the rules? We're going to do a whole episode on HOA in the future because we need to revisit it again. But during your inspection period, your buyer should be aware. If there's an HOA, what are the fees? Like all of these things are going to come up at closing and you don't want your buyer to be shocked.
Yes. Sometimes there's transfer fees with attached units, upcoming assessments. Like, have you as the agent checked on all of these things? I had a brand new agent call me recently getting one of her first listings. And she was like, what's the difference between a condo and a townhome? And I just went, oh no. I'm like, I can't text this back. It's like a novel.
Yeah.
Like you have so much you need to know. I'm like, you need to get a condo questionnaire, check with the HOA on the health of their financial status. Are there any upcoming assessments?
Yeah.
And she's like, so she calls me back and I told her much more, but she's like, I asked the HOA for a condo questionnaire and they said I have to bring them one. I'm like, yeah, you get it from a lender and then you provide it to the HOA and they fill it out. And then the lender lets you know if it can even qualify for financing. And if so, what kind?
Yeah.
So like, I think that if there is an HOA involved, and I think HOAs are more important now than ever because of our nationwide insurance struggles. HOAs are running on a deficit. They are having to carry a lot of insurance for roofs and attached structures. And if you aren't doing your due diligence as an agent before taking as a listing agent or a buyer's agent.
Right.
If there is an HOA involved, you need to be doing some research on a lot.
I like that you mentioned also as the listing agent.
Yes.
Like, you kind of have to operate as a listing agent as if the agent on the other side of the transaction does not know what they're doing.
This was like 2 years ago. I had a condo listed and I got an offer from an agent I had never heard of, and they were brand new and their broker was in the cloud, and I got this offer, and it's just an FHA offer. And I'm like, sweetie, this cannot go FHA at all. Most condos can't. And they're like, why? And I went, call your broker. I can't. I don't have a broker to call. I'm like, well, you don't need to be selling houses yet.
Yeah.
Like if I hadn't told them so, we would have had another situation where the buyer paid for an inspection. Yeah. I guess the lender would have caught it by then.
I hope.
But like,
some lenders are not so great either.
I know. Until the end. So there's just things that will save you a lot of time, a lot of heartache, just by being knowledgeable of what's going on.
Okay. Feeling like something might slip through the cracks in your transactions?
Not anymore. We've got you covered with the Hustle Humbly buyer and seller transaction checklist.
They walk you through every step from pre-listing or pre-offer all the way to post-closing.
These checklists can be used however you need. Uploaded to your CRM, a transaction management software, your Trello, or even handed to an office admin or your assistant.
So you stay organized, deliver consistent service, and never miss a beat.
Whether you're brand new or a seasoned pro, these checklists help you work smarter, not harder.
Get yours at hustlehumblypodcast.com/checklist to run your business with confidence and ease. Speaking of headaches and heartaches, let's talk about mistakes with understanding occupancy.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Mm-hmm. Our purchase agreement is written automatically to say occupancy transferred at closing.
So the day you close, you get the keys and you can move in.
If you're a new agent representing either side, but let's just say you're representing the seller, and your seller needs a few days of occupancy after closing because they're buying and selling at the same time, and you didn't negotiate that, and then 2 weeks before closing, you're like, hey, you're telling the buyer's agent, hey, the seller's going to need a couple of days. They don't have to give it to you. That's just not how it works. But you have to think about it when you're writing the offer. So there's all these check boxes you should be going through as you're preparing an offer or receiving an offer as an agent.
Right.
They can't be gone. You can't go back in time.
No.
Closing dates, occupancy, anything that the seller is locked in once they're locked in. The buyer maybe has a little bit more flex, but even then, after the inspection period, you're in.
If you forget to ask for something that was important, you have missed your moment. That's like these termite inspections that agents still like to sometimes write into the purchase agreement, which must stop. It must stop.
Really must stop.
But they choose to do it right before closing. And I'm like, if there's termites at that house,
it's still yours.
It's your house.
Enjoy. At least you know.
You didn't do your due diligence during your due diligence.
Right.
So now it's too late.
It's too late.
And even if you found something else,
it's not.
As long as it wasn't fraudulently committed by the seller, you're just out of luck. You got to buy this house still.
Exactly. That leads really nicely into the next one, which is canceling without problem solving. So just panic canceling. Okay. Cancellations are not a yes or no, black or white. Sometimes we need to problem solve our way out of why is the buyer wanting to cancel. If you're just like, if at the end of the inspection, unless there was something crazy, like the foundation is terrible, unless there is something majorly structurally wrong, your buyer should not be leaving closing and saying, we want to cancel. They should be saying, we want the seller to, even if the list is long.
Yeah. Oh, leaving the inspection, you mean? Yeah.
You have to ask for something. Just like, never mind. Even if the seller made this house perfect. I don't want it.
I don't want it.
That's just no.
And then it is our job to figure out, agents, I think, are so nervous to speak freely.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to come off as pushy. And so when I feel that way, I speak the truth. And I say, listen, I need to ask you some questions, and I don't want you to feel like I'm not representing you.
Yeah.
Well, I just need to understand. So even if this was done, you don't want the house. Help me understand why. What do we need to do for the next house? How do we need to change what we're looking for? There have been so many times where agents just so quickly cancel
Yeah.
and don't even, and to me, I'm like, that's the last thing I want to do.
No, and I've had agents, and I feel like you have too. Agents send a cancellation. You're like, well, why? And they're like, I don't know. They just said they wanted to cancel.
And I'm like, you didn't.
But you had to if you don't know why they're canceling, how are you ever you're never going to sell these people a house.
Mm-hmm. And I think that these buyers that cancel like that feel like they can, and they don't realize the effect it has because they were probably, their explanation is, oh, you can cancel anytime during due diligence. You can cancel anytime. It's not, hey, listen, this is a time where you have a way out. However, we want to go into it with a very strong, confident feeling that you want this house. Cancellations affect sellers. It affects the agents. It affects the house's sellability after.
Yeah.
Like, we don't go into this lighthearted.
Right.
This is a serious decision. It's a huge decision.
Yeah.
And before we make this offer, I want you in the most confident mindset you can be that this is the house for you.
Yeah. I don't want my buyers to just be teetering on, I think I want, and then I push them.
No.
I'd rather be like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?
I know.
And then we write the offer.
I think sometimes new agents are so excited to make the offer.
Yeah.
That they're just writing the offer.
So and I'm just trying to get a fish on the hook, right? Get a fish on the line.
Think about how often we are checking houses before we even go look at them.
Yeah.
Checking, is it in a flood zone? How much is that flood insurance?
Oh, yeah.
Has the house flooded? Like, are you as the new agent, I think that they're not always checking disclosures and things before they show houses. And then they make a cute little Facebook post about how they showed 30 houses today. I'm like, it probably could have been 8.
Right.
If you would have helped. I don't think anybody wants to look at that many houses in one day.
You do a really good job of this.
For a lot of reasons. One, I don't want to go if I know it's not going to
work. Yeah.
If I know, I'm like, my attitude is not going to be good.
Yeah, it's also not acceptable to pull up into the driveway and your buyer to get out of the car and be like, actually, now that we've been in the neighborhood, we don't want to go inside. I'm like, we've scheduled a showing. We will go inside.
Right. I've even told my client, I have to go in. I'm not going to do that to them.
Yeah.
If it's occupied especially. But even if it's vacant, be a good professional that at least gives helpful feedback. Yeah. And I really adopted the drive-by thing during COVID. When I have a buyer who is struggling to find something, usually because of a price point issue.
Yeah.
And they send me houses, and I know that I know this person, I know that where the house is, and I tell them, have you had a chance to drive by this one first? Because many of the houses we've looked at, when we pull in the driveway, you roll down the window and shake your head no.
Yeah.
We can't do that. You must do some due diligence.
Right.
I'm going to check the property disclosures and the insurance and see if there's any deal breaker items there. You're going to do a drive-by.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we're going to do. Have you checked your commute from work?
Right.
And sometimes when I know where the house is and I know commute has been our number one thing, I just had a buyer where the commute, I said, I just want to let you know I mapped it to your office and it's 41 minutes.
Right.
Is that going to be a problem? Yes, it is going to be a problem.
Because people start to get a little desperate the further the search goes. And if they're not finding what they need and they're like, well, here, this one's okay. And then you're like, it's 41 minutes from work. You want to do that for the rest of however long you live here? No.
And the thing is that, and I've even told my buyers when we're struggling, I'm like, listen, I know it may seem like I'm Xing out all these ones you're sending me.
Right.
But we just need one.
No doubt.
We just need one. Yeah. And we're going to find the one. It's going to take a lot of filtering and a lot of really searching, but we're going to find it. But we're going to be smart about it. And I'm not going to make you take your lunch break to go look at this house that's not going to work.
Great. That leads right into the next mistake.
Okay.
Saying yes to every client. Every request, every buyer who wants to see 47 houses in 3 counties with no pre-approval. That's not really a client, right? That's just a looky-loo. Or like saying yes to every seller who wants to list for $30,000 over what you see clearly is the market value. Like just saying yes to get a client is a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to be disappointed and likely you won't get paid.
I
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just had an agent that came to us and was saying that they have their first luxury listing, and it's
Okay.
one of their first listings, and they're just so excited about it. But it's been on the market for 4 months, and they've only had one showing, and the seller like wasn't ready, and and was like out of town and left the house a mess. And the agent went over there and cleaned the whole house and like was there till 10 o'clock at night, saying this like it was a badge of honor.
Mm.
And it's like, no, you can't want to sell the house more than they do.
No.
If they are not helping you and you're overpriced, it goes back to that episode we just did about you're actually hurting your reputation one
Yes.
client at a time by saying yes to people who aren't serious sellers.
Yep.
They aren't going to accept offers. They're going to decline showings. They're not going to clean their house.
Right.
They're not going to price it. But the new agents especially think, but
I don't have any listings.
I don't have any.
I need the listing.
I want the listing. And it's like, I don't want the listing. I want a paycheck.
Yeah, you want the closing.
Right.
Right. That's the difference.
This is the mindset shift as a new agent that you have to switch over to thinking is this person a real buyer, a real seller? Are they going to do what they need to do? You don't need to be over there cleaning their house until 10 o'clock. Like, I mean, sprucing up things here or there, rolling the trash cans up, like when they're out of town, that's different. But if they're not prepping at all, like, what are you going to do?
No, you might have to walk away.
I know.
You say, no, this is not acceptable.
Right.
All right, next mistake. Hiding behind tech and completely avoiding people. So when we're sending texts or emails that really need to be a phone call or an in-person meeting, this is a problem. We cannot get from intake all the way through closing via text and email.
No.
I mean, sure, we want to get most of our communication done in an email, but there are going to be messages that need to be delivered with your voice.
Yes. The newbies are really afraid of the phone.
Because you're afraid you're not. Well, and I also think there are some differences generationally with who uses the phone and who doesn't use the phone, like to actually make a call. I'm not saying you need to FaceTime your clients, but like call and let them hear your voice. I'm not worried about this foundation report because XYZ, or this is a problem that can be solved with this. If you just send a text, hey, we have a problem, here's a foundation report.
Yeah. That's no good.
No.
They need to hear your voice. And that needs to be a confident, well-educated voice.
I also think it's important to think through, what are you putting in writing from the legal perspective? Like, it is one thing to ask your buyer or seller questions that you maybe need to know the answer to, but maybe you don't also want to be just putting everything in writing until we're certain we know what's going on.
Right.
Or they say something they don't realize they shouldn't be saying. So I just, that one always gets me.
Yeah.
Even with agents to agent behavior. Sometimes I need to call the agent.
Yes.
They need to hear my voice.
We need to talk it out.
I need to cut through the whatever they're receiving it. They're receiving the messages where they are, not from where you sent them.
I think it's so helpful to pick up an email and say, hey, pick up the phone and say, hey, I just read your email. I feel like things are getting lost in translation. I wanted you to hear my voice and know I am doing everything I can. How can we work through this together?
Yeah.
But yeah, it needs to happen sometimes.
It does. Not every time, but sometimes. Okay, last mistake. Taking everything so personally.
And this kind of goes back to being a learned skill again.
Yeah.
You know, I remember crying a lot that first year, just out of frustration, embarrassment, disappointment, losing listings, losing family members, losing friends. And my broker would always tell me, how you handle this will determine if these people use you in the future.
Yeah, you could ruin a whole relationship.
Yeah.
Business and personal.
Is this worth losing a whole like when you're new, I think your mindset is so short-sighted. You are not thinking long-term.
Yeah.
And I can't count the number of people that didn't use me my first 5 years that I have done so much business with the last 10 years.
Right.
Because I did not burn the bridge.
Right.
I dealt with it privately.
Yeah. And you learned and you got better so that you felt more confident so that you could help people. Like, people see that in you.
Now that I'm at where I'm at in my business, I actually respect those people more. Because
Right.
they were making a wise choice.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't have used me either if I was brand new and my friend had been in the business and was full-time all this time. Like, I get it.
Right.
So it is hard, but I do think that you have to constantly be checking your mindset.
For sure.
And just listening. What is the voice that you're telling yourself? Like, what are you telling yourself? And is it true?
Yeah, no doubt. I had not that long ago an agent who was kind of being rough with me. And I was like, I can't imagine what would happen if this was a new agent in my place. Because I was like, God, why is she being so mean?
Yeah.
But also, I didn't take it personally at all. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to match this energy because it's like you're saying things that aren't even true.
Yeah.
I know they're not true. I need to kind of correct and put you in your place and represent my client. If I had been a new agent, this person, I can assure you, would have rolled all over me.
Yeah.
And that is not acceptable.
Well, I like what you said, that you needed to correct and represent your client. Because that's what we're there for.
Yeah.
And if you can't confidently represent your client, you should be fired.
Okay. I'm so glad you said that because I think in the spirit of the original message, it was like, can we get an episode telling us it's okay? And while I want to help all agents, it's not okay to learn on the job at the expense of your buyers and sellers.
Correct.
You really have to take this seriously. Obviously, no one gets it right every time. People make mistakes. That's how we started the whole episode.
They forget the cake.
People forget the cake. But you can't give yourself a pass. And if you make a mistake, you really need to take accountability for it.
Mm-hmm.
You need to let your clients know. You need to definitely learn what you need to learn so you don't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
For goodness sake, don't repeat a mistake.
I sold a listing years ago, like 2017, actually. I know when it was.
Great. Wow, so specific.
It was right after the 2016 flood.
Okay.
I had a listing that flooded and was beautifully renovated.
Okay.
And the buyer's agent was new.
Mm-hmm.
And their due diligence was very light.
Okay.
And I was thinking to myself, if my buyers were buying this house that had flooded,
you'd have a lot of questions.
I'd have a lot of questions and I would be doing a lot more.
Okay.
Long story short, we closed, happy transaction. 3 months later, they wanted to replace some flooring that wasn't replaced after the flood because some people after the flood were like told by contractors, tile's good, or you don't have to change out the tub. Well, when they went to pull up their floors, there was mold. So it's invisible. And there's things that could have been done to avoid this.
Yeah.
That weren't done. And that new agent, I think, did a really great job handling it. He went to them and said, y'all, I made a mistake. There are things we should have done during our due diligence that I didn't think to do.
Right.
I am not going to just leave you hanging with a moldy house. I have insurance. I don't have money I can give you, but I have insurance. And that's what it's there for. And I just think that y'all need to sue me.
The agent told
who were like, we don't want to sue you. And he's like, I made a mistake. And I can't just give you money.
Wow.
I don't have money to give you. I don't have any money. So I can't make this right. And I don't know what it's going to cost to make this right. But I know I have insurance.
Do we know what it costs to make it right?
They ended up getting all these estimates and they sued his insurance. Sued him, air quotes, sued him, his insurance. And they got $56,000 to renovate the renovated house.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Did he make that choice unilaterally of his broker or just
he went to his broker
and the broker was aware
and the broker was like, this sounds like grounds for an insurance claim. Because I think the broker asked him, did you do this? Did you do this? And the answers were no. And then she's like, you were negligent during their due diligence.
I mean, obviously you had a property disclosure that showed it had flooded.
Yeah, we even had mold certificates. Remember those?
Yeah.
Those were going around everywhere after the flood.
Yeah.
You just had to provide your mold certificate, which I got all that documentation from my clients.
Yes.
And they were told by licensed contractors, you don't have to rip everything up. You just have to rip up these things.
Yeah. Wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, our mistakes do actually have monetary repercussions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think about the brand new agent that I had the listing and they didn't write for the refrigerator, washer, and dryer to stay with the house. So my client sold it.
Yeah.
And they didn't do a final walkthrough.
Oh, they didn't even know it wasn't there.
And they didn't know it wasn't there till after closing. And I had to say, I'm so sorry. Number one, it wasn't in the contract.
Right. So
Number two, you didn't even do a final walkthrough. And that broker made that agent purchase a brand new refrigerator, washer, and dryer.
That got to be the whole commission.
So talk about that agent needed that commission check. And the commission check did not cover all 3 appliances.
They ended up having to pay to sell that house.
So talk about you want to pay to learn,
right?
Or you can show up at your office, show up at your board, attend classes, go to meetings, talk to agents, listen to podcasts, learn. When you have an ounce of doubt, you ask.
Yeah.
You ask questions.
Check and double check and recheck.
Yeah.
It's so funny because one of the first classes I went to, I actually think it was one of the required post-licensing. The teacher of the class was a local agent who had been selling for many years. And she said, I just want you to know that in your first 3 years, everyone in this room will be sued. And I was like, what? I was not sued, thankfully, but I was also extra careful. And I think maybe that's what we all need, to be scared straight a little.
Yeah, just scare you. You want to be sued?
Like sued? I don't want to be sued.
You could be sued. You could lose your license.
I can't afford to be sued.
Right.
Right. Ugh, crazy. That's all I have.
That was look, if you're new out there, learn from these things.
We're here to thank God you're here listening.
We're here to you're already ahead.
You're ahead. You're going to be okay. But also we all need the reminders.
And if you have a brand new agent calling you all the time, send them this episode.
It's
and be
true.
like, hey, you need to listen to this today.
Yeah.
You need to listen. We have a toast from Valentina Dulcini.
Oh.
What a fun name.
That's a great name.
And I love that her first line in all caps is, I am not a real estate agent.
No.
But my sister-in-law is.
Love it.
I just have to give her a well-deserved shout out. I love that this is her sister-in-law.
I'm loving that this is coming up in this episode where we're telling people not to take it personally.
I know.
And now we have a relative about to toast.
Yes.
Okay, I'm loving it.
Lauren Dulcini in Twin Falls, Idaho, truly gives her all to every single client she works with. And yes, I know it might sound like I'm biased, her being my family and all, but I've had a front row seat to the level of care, hustle, and heart that she pours into her work. And I'm telling you, she's the real deal. She doesn't just help people buy or sell homes. She shows up for people. She advocates fiercely. She communicates constantly. And she treats every transaction like it matters, because to her, it does. Mm-hmm. It is so cool to witness her drive, integrity, and genuine care for relationships firsthand. Lauren goes above and beyond in every single sense. So cheers to Lauren in Twin Falls, Idaho.
Wow.
And then how did sister-in-law get our email? Like,
she must listen.
Or knows Lauren listens?
Who could say?
But that's
cheers
so
to
cool.
Lauren.
This is really
What was her sister?
Valentina Dulcini.
Thank you, Valentina.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love it. That was a perfect toast for this episode.
It was.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Wait, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode and if we brought you value, take a minute to rate the show, leave a review, or drop a comment.
We are giving away our best stuff for free. Find it at hustlehumblypodcast.com/freebies.
We'd also love to see you in Hustle Humbly community. Join us there at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership.
We love chatting with you in our DMs. Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast and say hello.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at teen@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast. See you next week.
This is the good life.